Lena's hands trembled as she hurried to wipe down the marble floors of the prestigious Grand Hotel lobby. Her eyes stayed fixed on the ground, heart racing in the quiet hum of the early morning. Suddenly, a sharp voice broke the silence. "Please, can someone help? Doesn't anyone here speak French?" Lena froze, breath catching in her chest. Her manager was nowhere to be seen. She cautiously looked up and met the desperate gaze of a well-dressed woman, clearly distressed. Without thinking, Lena stepped forward and replied fluently in French. "J'apporte de l'aide, madame." The lobby fell into a stunned silence. All eyes turned to her, astonishment written on their faces. Lena's cheeks flushed under the weight of the stares. Housekeepers weren't supposed to draw attention, let alone speak. Then, from a shadowy hallway, the hotel's owner emerged, his gaze locked on Lena. Dread curled in her stomach. Had she just made a huge mistake? He stepped toward her, voice calm yet commanding. "You, in my office. Now." What would happen to Lena next? Subscribe to Real Life Stories now, because something unforgettable was about to unfold. The owner's footsteps echoed sharply against the marble as he approached. The tension was thick. "You spoke French," he said quietly, but with a sharpness that cut through the air. Lena's voice came out as a whisper. "Yes, sir. I only wanted to help." Despite her fear, a hint of pride rose in her voice. He studied her, silent for a long moment. "How many languages do you speak?" Lena swallowed hard, her fingers gripping the rag until her knuckles turned white. "9. 9? His eyebrows lifted in disbelief. "No one ever asked," she said, her voice now steady, a flicker of defiance sparking. Behind him, her manager appeared with arms crossed, expression hard. "This isn't about talent, it's about rules," the manager snapped. "Housekeepers aren't to speak to guests in anything but English. It disrupts the order." Lena met his glare. Maybe the order needs to be disrupted. The owner raised his hand to silence the manager. "That's enough. I want to know more about you." Later that day, Lena sat under harsh fluorescent lights in a small office. Across from her, Mr. Callahan, the hotel owner, leaned forward, elbows on the desk. "How did you learn all those languages while working here?" Lena glanced toward the window. The city sounds below were faint. "I study in every spare moment. Between cleaning rooms, after the boys are asleep. It's how I hold on to who I am." "Your family?" he asked. She paused, then nodded. "I'm raising my 2 younger brothers since our parents died. I work nights so I can be home during the day to help with school and homework." Mr. Callahan nodded slowly, absorbing every word. The sternness in his expression softened. "That's a lot to carry." "I don't have a choice," Lena replied quietly. "But sometimes I wonder if anyone here even sees me, or if I'm just background noise." "You're not background noise to me anymore," he said. Then, after a pause, his tone darkened. "But others, they might see your rise as a threat." Word spread. Quickly. At the next staff meeting, Lena felt the weight of murmurs and side glances, like shadows crawling up behind her. "You think the owner's playing favorites?" a housekeeper muttered. "Probably just a stunt." "They've never liked us getting too smart," another whispered. Lena overheard the last comment but kept walking. She refused to let their cynicism anchor her down. That evening, in her small apartment, with city noise trickling through cracked windows, she sat wearily on the worn couch. Her little brother, Caleb, poked his head around the corner, math book in hand. "Can you help me with this problem?" She gave a tired smile, pushing aside her exhaustion. "Of course." As they worked, her phone buzzed. A message from Mr. Callahan. "Come by my office tomorrow. We need to talk about your role here." She stared at the screen, the room suddenly shrinking around her. Was this the moment she stepped into the light or deeper into the shadows? The next day, the executive floor buzzed with unfamiliar energy. In front of gathered staff, Mr. Callahan introduced Lena, not as part of the housekeeping team, but as the hotel's new international guest liaison. Her heart pounded as she faced the room. Some people met her with quiet admiration. Others stared with thinly veiled resentment. After the meeting, Garrett Price, a senior executive with a polished smile and calculating eyes, approached her. Polyglot cleaner to executive. "Impressive," he said smoothly. "But you know how this works. People like me don't give up power without a fight." Lena met his gaze, unwavering. "Then I'll fight," she said. "But not the way you expect." In the weeks that followed, Lena excelled. She navigated languages and cultural customs with ease, earning respect from international guests. But beneath her success, sabotage brewed. Memos were altered, meetings happened without her, and whispers circulated with the intent to isolate. One afternoon, Garrett handed her a forged memo. "You'd better fix this before it costs you your job." Lena calmly took the papers. "I already did." She handed him corrected versions, flawless and professional. The room went still. Behind her, Mr. Callahan appeared. "Thank you, Lena. This won't go unnoticed." Garrett's face drained of color. He said nothing. The scheme had been exposed. The tension didn't vanish overnight, but something shifted. Respect grew. Colleagues began to approach Lena for advice. Her voice began to carry weight. One evening, Mr. Callahan found her alone in the break room. "They're still talking," he said quietly. Lena's eyes met his, steady. "Let them. I'm not invisible anymore." He nodded. "You belong here, Lena. Don't let them make you forget that." Months later, Garrett's downfall came not with drama, but with quiet certainty. A thorough investigation revealed his attempts to sabotage Lena, manipulated documents, false rumors, and deliberate attempts to undermine her work. The evidence was undeniable. He was dismissed. In the days that followed, Lena found herself once again standing in the hotel lobby, bathed in the soft morning light pouring through the grand windows. This time the whispers were gone, replaced by quiet nods of recognition. Phone buzzed. A message from her youngest brother. "You did it." A smile spread across her face as she clutched her badge. Her journey, from unseen to unshakable, was no longer just her own. It had become a quiet inspiration for those watching, from the margins. In the stillness that followed Garrett's exit, a subtle transformation settled over the hotel. Not one marked by grand speeches or flashy announcements, but by the quiet weight of respect. Glances that lingered a little longer, gestures that once ignored her now acknowledged her presence. But for Lena, the true victory ran deeper than any title or external validation. It was in reclaiming her own voice. She thought back to those countless nights, curled over textbooks while the city outside lay sleeping, when her future was nothing but a fragile hope. And now here she stood, seen, heard, and finally herself. The invisible weight of expectations had once pressed on Lena like a second skin, silent, heavy, unrelenting. The kind of pressure that demanded she stay small, unnoticed, obedient. But now, standing tall beneath the soaring ceilings of the Grand Hotel, she understood something that had taken years to realize. True strength isn't found in silence or invisibility. It's found in being seen, clearly, confidently, unapologetically. It's the courage to stand your ground, even when the world tries to shrink you, to speak when you're expected to be quiet, to rise, not despite the judgments, but in defiance of them. She often thought of her brothers' 2 young lives full, of promise and vulnerability, shaped by hardship but also by hope. Their faces, lit with trust, were constant reminders of why she kept going. Her journey wasn't hers alone. It was a bridge they could walk across, a roadmap drawn in resilience and grit. Proof that even when the odds seem stacked sky high, determination and truth can carve a path forward. One afternoon, Lena walked through the lobby, her heels tapping softly against the polished floor. The murmur of guests blended with the distant clinking of glasses from the cafe. Sunlight streamed through the tall windows, casting long golden beams that lit up swirling dust motes, like tiny quiet celebrations suspended in air. She paused, for a moment, fingertips resting on the smooth marble railing, cool, strong, enduring. It grounded her, a silent testament that foundations built on integrity and perseverance could weather anything. This wasn't just a job anymore. This was her reality, imperfect, evolving, but undeniably hers, a world where barriers could be broken, where voices once silenced now shaped the narrative, where courage wasn't loud but steady, a quiet force behind every forward step. Lena's story is more than a personal triumph. It's a powerful reminder to anyone who's ever felt small or unseen. Real change begins when we stop trying to squeeze into spaces never meant for us and instead begin creating our own. Because truth, no matter how long it's buried, will always find its way to the surface. If Lena's journey inspired you, don't forget to like and share this video. Help real life stories. New reach 10,000 subscribers so we can continue bringing you powerful stories of real people overcoming real challenges. Your support doesn't just grow a channel, it gives voice to those whose stories deserve to be heard. And most importantly, don't forget to subscribe. We're on a mission to hit 10,000 subscribers and every one of you makes a difference. Your support allows us to keep uncovering real stories that demand to be told, the ones that might not make headlines but still deserve to be heard. So until next time, stay aware, stay inspired, and remember, sometimes the quietest actions create the loudest echoes. Thanks for watching.